And we're back with another episode of R&R. I'm your host, Jamerson Ballard. Happy Monday, everybody. How's everything been, man? It looked like it's been a pretty crazy week already. What's going on? What's going on, man? What's happening, man? Listen, check it out. I know I'm supposed to probably talk about the massacre that happened out there in Monterey. And I mean, that's sad and it's tragic. But the primary objective of the show is to kind of prevent a lot of stuff before it gets to that point, to be perfectly honest. And my condolences to those who lost people out there. I truly hate to hear all that, man. It's sad. But yeah, what's going on, my people, man? What's happening to the Rand gang, man? We out here trying to, do some capital letter type things out here. And let's just get right into it, man. The topic of the day is, this might hit home for a few people. And I really don't mean to ruffle no feathers, but I kind of do, because these kind of things need to be touched on, to be honest, man. Check it out, though. Are you a mama's boy? Or are you, as a woman or a mother, are you creating a mama's boy? Man, thank much love to you too, Third. Man, I appreciate you, man. Check it out, though. Look. It's a lot of y'all who might not necessarily feel like you are that, and if you are, you don't necessarily feel like that's a problem. But I wonder how your significant other feels. It's not necessarily a cool thing to be a mama's boy, man. But another thing is, it ain't like your partner's just necessarily gonna call you on it. They might not. And your significant might not say nothing about it. But if you walking around here with entitlement issues, and it's not to blame women. For the most part, it's just not a lot of balance in the homes. You know what I'm saying? There is a need for more fathers in these households, man. Seriously. And then it's not like men are really having a great time being portrayed in a positive light at this particular juncture, but they are still very, very necessary. You know what I'm saying? Because the house needs balance, man. We really, as a community, need to get back to getting married and things like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the traditional fashion where you go into the courts, et cetera, et cetera. If you feel like you need to get married, it's probably best to get like a contract drawn up, and that way you can make sure that you're not getting cleaned out if things don't work out. And that's for either or, if whoever is the breadwinner in this situation, or what the point of this show is to keep this whole gender role situation from getting out of hand. You know what I'm saying? Because to be honest, man, for me personally, when I used to manage certain areas, it was just best that everybody knows how to do all the jobs in this situation, whatever that is. If you was, if there's a cashier cook dynamic, I would require that the cashiers also knew how to cook and that the cooks also knew how to cashier, so that everybody was interchangeable, if that makes sense. And in the home, because I know daddy's girls, because of the, disproportionate way society kind of looks at certain things, daddy's girl might not necessarily be looked at as a bad thing either. But let's be honest, the world is oversaturated with, reasonably attractive women who don't know how to do anything in the house or around the house. Outside, and we'll touch on that also, but I mean, to be perfectly honest, I really want to deal primarily with the men first. You understand what I'm saying? And the women who may be raising men and not really understanding that too much anything is bad, and this includes a mother's love. You can also love a man too much, or love a child too much, and release them into the world as this person who has these entitlement issues and thinks that everybody is supposed to act towards them like their mother did, and let them maybe bend rules or get away with things that they may are not supposed to get away with, and then constantly sparing the rod and spoiling the child. Because, you know, I can give you a few examples of men who just feel like everything is supposed to go the way that they feel like it should go, and that they aren't required to do anything. Some of you women are probably dating the men like that. You don't have to say nothing on here. I mean, if you feel comfortable with doing that, that's fine. But I mean, we're not here to like bash nobody. There's no big I's and little U's. You know what I'm saying? I am not perfect either. You know, what I really want to do though is to kind of even out the playing field, and just get people to understand that, you know, it's not about not making mistakes, but how we recuperate or recover from these quote unquote mistakes. You understand what I'm saying? Or not trying to overcompensate too much for the lack of one parent or the other parent, because there are some single fathers out here who, like I said, who may or may not have daughters, and you might feel like because you're being a stellar father that you are either making it harder for a man to come in and be able to take on these responsibilities. But at some point, I mean, if you're anything like me, you would love for your daughter to find an adequate mate and feel safe enough to release her to this young man and know that he and her are capable of adulting without your help. You understand what I'm saying? Because who wants to see a woman with a perfectly capable man sitting in the car doing nothing while his girlfriend or wife is outside fixing a flat because she had a father but he didn't? It's not cool, right? But I am under the impression that each gender, regardless of whom or what, should at least have a basic working knowledge of each of the things that need to transpire within a successful household, whether it be cooking, cleaning, outdoor work, the mechanics of a car, at least in the basics, and so you don't necessarily be clinging on to one another and have all these relationships where there are codependency issues, like, you know, I need her or I need him, etc. The first thing you want to do, to me personally, is become 100%er. You know what I'm saying? And that's just be a whole person before you decide to consider dating with somebody else. Because I've heard a lot about 50-50, 50-50. Look, everybody should come in 100-100. And there's going to be some days where, and this is not necessarily me trying to be a relationship guru or things like that. I'm just really all about everybody being the best person they can be. And if you decide to get into a relationship, now you have everything you need to be an asset to the relationship as opposed to a liability. So please don't take what I'm trying to say as, you know, I'm trying to hurt anybody. You know, I might hurt some feelings out there. But to be honest, bro, coming home from work after working 8 hours and jumping on the game and just leaving all the housework and the things for the kids and all of that to the woman is just not cool. And I don't know if you have friends or anything like that to tell you this kind of shit, but that's just not the way it's supposed to be. I know a lot of women out there feel like because you're being a strong woman and taking on all these responsibilities, because you don't have anybody to help you, that's fine. But to be honest, a lot of these dudes who have been raised by women also expect for their woman to do all of those things also and not complain about it. And that's just not how it works, man. I mean, if you a man working 8, 10-hour, 12-hour days and, you have to come home and cook your own meal and things like that, then you might have a deeper appreciation for a woman whenever you get one and she is able to work 8 hours, maybe even 10, and then come home and fix a meal for you. It's not necessarily her job to do that, but we all about being appreciative of one another's efforts. You know what I'm saying? The Capital Letter Club is not about me telling you what to do. I'm not going to ask anybody to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. As a founding member of the Capital Letter Club, that's just the basis of it, There's a lot more respect when you understand what it is you're asking someone to do, and then when they do it or they can't do it, I can show you how to do it correctly or in the way that I would like to do it, as far as like cooking and things like that. You as a man shouldn't necessarily be hollering at this woman like, oh, you don't cook like my mama cooked. Because you don't cook like your mama cooked, and if you wanted to eat food like your mother made, you should have been in the kitchen paying attention at least a little bit, because Lord forbid she was to pass anytime soon, she is not always going to be there for you. And as women raising men, you should understand and prepare your son for the fact that you're not always going to be there for him. As men, we kind of get a bad rap, but when we're fathers, our goal is to train this young man to be able to handle things when things go wrong. Because I know I'm not always going to be here to save you from this. So yes, you're going to have to get out there and fight for yourself. You're going to have to stand up for yourself. And sometimes when there's not a man in the house, the woman will try to coddle a man. And no, you don't have to go out there and fight, baby. You don't have to do that. And I'm not saying that you should be, promoting violence or anything like that, but these are just things in life that has to happen, and it hasn't been happening, and you wonder why we have all these weak men, if you can even call them that. A lot of men are not men. A lot of y'all are just males. And whether you want to understand that and make changes, that's totally up to you. But like I'm saying, man, some of us as women, I'm seeing some of the women, and it's the responsibility is on us as men. When you decide to deal with a woman sexually, before it comes to that, you should already kind of know what kind of person you are dealing with, who you are, what you would like to have happen, and what kind of relationship you want to have going forward. But a lot of men have their order of operations backwards. They end up finding somebody that will screw them or screw on. Then you end up trying to find a job, then maybe a place to live, and then you hoping that she got the place to live in the car, and you want her to respect you when everything that you have in your possession is things that she relinquished to you. Bruh, you got a second mom, basically. And she has a son, another son, who, if you take a step back and look at it, who really wants that for an extended period? I have dudes coming up to me all the time, and they really don't understand why they women don't respect them. And that's why. You getting in her car, and you like, or rather she's like, baby, fasten your seatbelt. And there's nothing wrong with her wanting you to be safe, but bro, can you see what it's like to have your own stuff for at least a year? Get your own place, your own apartment, own crib. I don't care if it's you gotta have your mattress on the floor for a couple of months until you figure out how you gonna save enough money to get you some furniture. And you have to start somewhere, but bro, we all need to be 100% before we decide to get into a relationship with another person, man. And it's going to be some discomfort in that. Yeah, you would like to go from your mama's house to another ready-made crib, but that's not how it's supposed to work altogether, man. How else are you going to appreciate anything if you've never kind of gone through a lot of this stuff, man? So, like I said, man, some of you dudes, whether you want to admit it or not, mama's boys. And I can outline what makes a mama's boy. And like I said, it's not necessarily all bad, but if you feel like you are one of these men who are a mama's boy, you have to face the hard facts first and then do things that you need to do to kind of get yourself out of this frame of mind where you feel like a woman is supposed to do everything for you. Because that's not the way it works. I'm not saying that you should be doing everything, but you definitely should be prepared to do everything for yourself. So that if she can't do something for you, you can step up and have that happen. Whether you have to pay somebody to do it or you can order food, or until you get to a point where you know how to cook at least 3 or 4 basic meals, bro. There should not be, it's no excuse for you not to be able to make something for yourself, at least one thing good. Whether it's, I don't care if it's just fried chicken. You should have one meal that you know how to prepare, but at least 3. And you shouldn't be ashamed of this. You know, you should be able to clean and wash clothes. You should be able to clean and maintain the house. You should be able to, you know, sew a button back on, you know, and maybe learn how to make some cornbread or something. But you shouldn't be eating Hot Pockets all the time, bro, and eating fast food all the time and, you know, wondering why your health, or putting your whole health into the hands of another person. I mean, they could be feeding you whatever. You don't know. You don't never go in the kitchen. You don't know how that even works. You know what I'm saying? That's not good, man. Now, I'm not saying that you should be like trying to be better women than women. All I'm saying is you should have at least, and as mothers, you should make sure your son knows how to do at least some of the basic things. And as a woman, you should know how to change a tire. You should know how to cut grass. You should know how to take out the trash. You should have basic working knowledge of things that are outside the house and inside. Both genders should know most of these things that I just named off before you decide to get into a relationship with another person. And just be real with yourself. If you don't know how to do that, I mean, there's people that can teach you. YouTube can teach you a lot of things, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just, like I said, it's a lot of fathers that aren't there. So you changing the tire, knowing when your alternator needs to be, or is going out and things like that. That's not necessarily just a man's thing, but you as a man should know how to do some of those things, at least some of them. You know, because what else are you going to give all your money to the mechanic and trust him to do everything he's supposed to do? No. And that's not a shot to mechanics, and I know y'all know how to get y'all money, but I mean, I try to get a car fixed, man. They so overworked because don't nobody want to do nothing manual at all. And that's really kind of sad. So that's why I'm having this conversation with y'all right now, man. And it's just like, you can just pretend like it's just me and you ain't got to tell nobody. And, you know, this could be just your secret, but you need to work on those things, brother. And sis, stop spoiling that boy so much. I have women come up to me all the time, and they don't understand why they son don't, you know, necessarily respect them or woo-woo. You can't just give them everything they want all the time. I mean, I don't understand altogether why a lot of people who were struggling the most are some of our best people. Maybe there's a way that you can engineer some struggle or let them kind of go through things and solve things for themselves. You know, let him take the bus to school sometimes. Let him, find out how difficult it is to walk from one place to another one, and then understand that so he'll know how good he really got it. So, I ain't saying that you as father should let your daughter walk nowhere altogether, but, at some point, is there a such thing as being too good of a dad where I'm a man, so I don't want my daughter, if I was to, to speak on that or have something like that going on, I'm not finna have her doing too much extra, or struggling or things of that nature, but I do want to be there to show her how things are supposed to be and be an example to her so she know what kind of man she should pick, but I don't want to make her sorry where she feel like she a little princess and she don't have to clean up after herself, or she could just say and do anything that she wants to and men should bow down to her. That's not necessarily how it's gonna work, sweetheart. I would say to men and women in relationships, definitely keep your hands to yourself. But this is not necessarily a relationship show. Again, this is just to get you to understand that, bruh, if your girl is working 8 hours like you, and all you doing is coming home and playing the game, and you wonder why she not giving you no loving, she not showing you no love, it's because she's exhausted. She's tired of having to do the laundry and the cleaning and the cooking. And then there are women who might not be tired of that. And to you, kudos. I salute you. But don't you think it would be nice if your significant decided he wanted to help you with the laundry today and helped you a little bit around the house so that you wouldn't have to be so stressed out about how you're going to get all this stuff done and get enough sleep to go to work tomorrow and be 100% smiling and laughing in front of these people, and acting like you happy to be there when you upset because you'd rather be at work than to go home. And some of you dudes, I know you probably mad, you think that your girl, don't rock with you like that, but it's not necessarily that, man. Just try to be a little more understanding of the fact that it's not necessarily all on her, man. And just do your part. If your relationship didn't work and you mad because your kid ain't there with you or you still have to be a father. And you owe it to your kid or your son or your daughter to show them what a father looks like, man. Or somebody else will be raising your kid and you cannot be upset with that. Because you made your own bed hard, bro. Sis. If you got a son who has a wife that you don't care for, a lot of that is going to be your fault because you didn't show him what kind of woman he should be picking. Or you did show him what kind of woman he would pick by being rude, being abrasive, being just mean. And then he bring home something that's mean and cold to him, and he just, okay, baby, okay. That's your fault. A lot of that is your fault. Because all you do is scream at him and talk crazy to him. And when he bring a woman home that scream at him and talk crazy to him, you wonder how he got that. Why he picked that. It's because he learned it from you. So let's just be more respectful of each other. Try to stay out each other's way. But let's get some balance back in these homes, man, because it's a lot out of whack. It's not cool, and it's starting to show. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not perfect. I'm not here to tell you that I'm perfect. I'm just ranting about some of the things that I see need to be improved on. And like I said, if you're a solid dude, more power to you. Pass this on. Maybe this ain't your episode. But if you not, and it's not going to be easy to admit this, you got some work to do. And it's not impossible to make changes. Ain't no day like today to start and just take baby steps, bruh. You know what I mean? I would always encourage anybody, and I'm not trying to push none of nobody, but get off in your word a little bit, man. Read Proverbs, man. See what's going on in there. You know what I mean? Get you a good routine going. Wake up on time. Get you a good workout in or something to that effect. Read something, you know, and take something and put something positive in your day every day until you create new habits. You know, replace some of those bad ones. You know, maybe not just jump on the game all day. Like I said, man, maybe go check with baby and see if she needs you to help you. Maybe just help her without having to ask her and see how that changes things in the bedroom for some of y'all, man. You might get a little more play in there. You know, same thing for you women. It'd be nice for you to ask the man how not only ask him how his day was, but try to inquire what does he actually do for a living. A lot of you women got to do it out there, and you don't care what he doing for a living. You just happy he bringing money home, but you don't know nothing about what drives that man, or what makes him tick, or try to understand each other. You just, he get on my nerves, she get on my nerves. Y'all really just there trying to be on some roommate type shit, and it's played out, man. It's really sad that a lot of these people are in these codependent relationships. And when they fall apart, I mean, you've been telling this person all these years that they ain't shit and that you can't stand them and et cetera, et cetera. But when they leave, do you be all sad and broke up and trying to figure out how you can get them back just so you can trick them into being with you for another 2 weeks until you figure out something, and then you either back to your same situations, like back to your same routine, you know, ain't really changed nothing. You just trying to play like you is because you don't want to be by yourself, man. Let me let you understand something, man. Misery loves company, man. Don't nobody want to be with somebody that don't want to be with they self. And can't nobody make you happy. You have to learn how to do that on your own, and maybe that person can, you know, enhance it or help you enjoy yourself a little more, but nobody want to be around somebody that's always complaining and crying and placing blame on somebody else. That's not manly at all. You know what I'm saying? As a man, you're supposed to be able to take responsibility for your actions. As the head of a household, you're supposed to be able to take responsibility for everything that's going on in the house, even when it's going wrong, because at the end of the day, it's all you. Even if she don't want to take responsibility for her part, you still have to do that. And that's something a father would tell you, but if you ain't had no father and all you've been raised by is your mama, you probably don't have that knowledge, and that's all right. But just understand, if ain't nobody told you, you wrong, bro. You wrong. And I'm not trying to put you down. I'm just saying, take responsibility for the fact that things aren't going the way they're supposed to be. Lead by example. If you want your family to respect you, you want your woman to love you, you have to love yourself. You have to show them how to love you by loving yourself. It'll be best if you did this before you got in a relationship with somebody else. But if you're going to ask somebody to do something, do it first. Show them how that's supposed to happen, bro. Keep your own house clean. Keep your own car, shoes, hair clean, presentable. It ain't got to be designer. It just needs to be clean. You understand? Brush your teeth, wash it. You shouldn't have to have nobody tell you how to do that, bro. You shouldn't just do it just for a woman either. And vice versa for the women. You know what I mean? You shouldn't just be getting dressed and shiny and sexy or for a man. You should just do that because that's who you is. Take some of them hair hats off and do the hair that's up under there a couple times a month. You know? Treat yourself right. Do what you're supposed to do, man. Like I said, read something. Even if it ain't the Bible, man, read a book, at least 2 books a year, man. Do yourself a favor, man. Get into some new things, man. Do something and get out of your comfort zone sometimes. Everybody just doing what they already do good already. That ain't gonna cut it, man. You gotta do some of the things that you might not be good at and get better at those things. Try that. And like I said, I ain't trying to get down on nobody. I love everybody, but here at the Capital Letter Club, man, we take losers and make them into winners, bro. You can be a winner too. I mean, I'm hoping that you're already winning and this is just enhancing your win in a way. But if you're not and you're not having things your way, it's not everybody else's fault. It's not your mama's fault. It's not your daddy's fault. It's not your parents' fault. At a certain age, you have to take responsibility for your own actions, man. And if you 35 and higher, pointing your finger at everybody else and everybody wrong and they did you wrong and you ain't got no help and all, bro, you going the wrong way. Now, I actually live in a state where there's a lot of help and maybe a little too much help. You know, you see a lot of panhandling, a lot of begging, and a lot of hands out. But, hey, man, you're in places that are like a lot more heavily populated. You're going to have to do a lot more to get your issue. And if you just out here running around hoping somebody feels sorry for you, bro, you going to get scraps every time. So let's get up, man. Let's do our part, man. You know, learn how to congratulate somebody else on what they doing well. And, you know, if you're not doing things as well as they are, man, take you some notes, man. You know what I'm saying? They say if you can't beat them, join them. I mean, I don't know if that's for you, but like I said, you can definitely take some pointers from some of these people that's doing things a little bit better than you, bro. Instead of always hating and you know, walking around here sad. I mean, I'm going to get a little bit more into this on my next episode, but for right now, man, I think that's going to do it for today. I, again, your host, Jamerson Ballard. This is R&R. Shout out to the Rain Game, the Capital Letter Club. If I've said or done anything that's benefited you in any way and you wanted to shoot me a little something on Cash App, that's fine. It's not necessarily for that, but I am accepting those. My Cash App is $SuperStee, SuperStee. If you're enjoying this on YouTube, man, shoot me a like, share that thing, you know, Facebook, Instagram Live. We out, man. Hey, have a good rest of y'all week, and yeah, stay on top of your game, man.